Zambia, good evening world, good evening bonse mwebaletamba. How are you muli bwanji muli buti chani mutozi chwane chan. Good evening and thank you for joining us on Face the Chat with Pilato. And we continue discussing issues that affect our society, things that affect our country. And this evening, I'm excited to be hosting one comrade, one soldier, Comrade Daddy, the Comrade Maiko Zulu, who's always been there. I don't know, a torch bearer. Torch bearer, Njani. What does torch bearer mean?
Usenda omuliro.
Yeah. Comrade, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening, comrade. And good evening, I don't know, ngama viewers, ngama watchers, ngama listeners won't say.
My viewers, comrade. I'm very happy and excited to be speaking to you. I think this is the first time this year that we're having a conversation and we're having it online. We're having our first conversation online. In 2022 online. How is the new year, comrade?
I think we took a bit of time to rest. You can sleep in your home.
Yeah. How is the new year?
But the new year, comrade, looks promising. I think it's unlike many new years that we've experienced, because I think for the first time in a long time, comrade, you can sit down. If you're an artist, you can sit down and think. If you're an activist, you can, direct your efforts to other things now for obvious reasons. If you are a church, you're able to congregate, without undue influence. If you are a judge, you are able to do your job, without external influences. And it's, I think it's the same for many other people, many other professions. So the year for me looked promising.
That's very good, comrade. So basically, what I want us to discuss this evening is the Zambia Today. But we cannot discuss the Zambia Today without discussing the Zambia yesterday. And I think you've made mention of or hinted on some of the things that we used to experience, especially you and me and many other people that we may not even know. Kindly remind us, where are we coming from?
Okay. Comrade, and I'm glad you said Comrade Daddy, because I think in our circles, you and I, I happen to have a certain experience from in all governments. Of course, I wasn't born at independence, but I experienced the Kaunda government. Times when Lusaka City Council would bring a dustbin at my mother's house, and all the houses. Time where Ngatwatowama window in Kabwata, National Housing Authority would be there to fix. So you could see a sense of governance, local government especially. Then of course, we had the MMD era, which for me, I think laid
Comrade, do I still have you? Do I still have you, comrade? I think the comrade has dropped, so we will wait a little. Comrade, I can't hear you.
Is it from this end?
lost you. I lost you.
Okay, I thought I lost you too, comrade. Yes,
Okay,
so I was saying, comrade.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes,
was
comrade.
saying the MMD era laid the foundation for most of what we've experienced even under the Patriotic Front era. So this change of governments, this change of leadership styles, you know, has, I don't know whether it has nurtured the country or has misled the country, but we've grown with it.
Yeah.
We've grown with it. Our young people, we are coming from an immediate era where for you, comrade, to be to have dignity, so to say, you had to cut to a politician, one of the two. So we reached a point where from the Kaunda days, some of us were aspiring when there was Zambia Airways to be pilots. We could see doctors, we could see teachers, dignified, uh, 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 so I'm losing your picture, comrade. But if you can hear me and see me, I can continue.
I can hear you, comrade. I can hear you.
I've got you now. Okay, yes. So then we move to an era, the era I'm talking about, where just your shoes, or your body structure. Like you, comrade, you're a bit huge than me, so in yako fienshimbi, then you can qualify for even a position, that requires you to go to university for 7 years. So as a country, we started very well. We started very well. The economy, infrastructure itself wasn't as bad. But where we are right now, comrade, we are at a point where Zambia is at the mercy of foreigners. Okay, we do not own our economy. We do not own our minds. It pains me, comrade, because I stand on the roadside sometimes and count how many truckloads of copper go from the copper belt. Just even in 1 hour, comrade, in 1 hour, you would count up to 40, 45, 50 trucks, Then when you travel this road that these minerals are using to go out of the country, you see the poverty in some of the towns, just Pakabweapa at Hungry Lion, you see those kids that have to beg for food every time you stop there, yet our copper, goes every day out of the country. For whose benefit? It's not our copper. You go to the tourism sector, comrade, the best lodges in this country do not belong to Zambians. Okay? Go to Lower Zambezi today. Check beautiful places, comrade. Amazing, you think you are in heaven, but they don't belong to Zambians. Okay? So basically, we are at the mercy of external forces as a country. And, that is why, it's very much easy for people that managed to mortgage this country, to sell it to the highest bidder, to say, no, we have built infrastructure, we have this and this kind of legacy, I mean, it's a corrupt legacy, comrade. We reached the point where Zambia became one of the most corrupt countries on the continent. You know, we were no longer Zambia in the sun. By the way, that was the Zambia tourism slogan, Zambia in the sun. Oh,
Yes, I remember that.
Kanshi Twali, yes.
I
So
even had the
Zambia,
t-shirt. Zambia in the sun.
eh,
I even
okay.
had the Zambia in the sun.
Zambia in the sun, yes. Eh.
Yeah.
So, comrade, ichalo tukwete, echalo chesu. We are Zambians by default, Zambia, you know, but the best things that are supposed to be identified with Zambia are not ours. Okay, Victoria Falls itself is being advertised by South Africans, you know, South African tourist companies, you know, and you know, foreigners, you know, buy tickets to go to South Africa, then Watambako Vic Falls, you know, and they go back, you know. So there's
What
a
do you
lot of
think?
fixing.
What do you think needs to be done? What do you think needs to be done from starting from the people themselves, especially the young people? What do you think needs to be
Well,
done by the young people in this country to change that status? What do you think needs to be done by the government to change that status?
first of all, I'm glad you talked about young people because you and I have quite an experience with the young people. And
Yes.
I think our power lies in the young people, you know. So for me, I would like to see a situation where young people, yes, young people voted, okay? Young people managed to change a government. They managed to chase thieves out of government, you know, just the young people, because they just decided that, you know, we've had enough, you know. But for me, that's not enough, comrade, you know, because when I look around, you know, I would like to see young people taking up the mantle of leadership in all areas. And I don't forget about political leadership. Political leadership, you can buy it, it's for sale. You know, people sell it, people buy it. But real leadership, for example, what you are doing, comrade, you know, this is the leadership that I would like to see young people in Zambia engage in, because it's through this engagement, comrade, that young people must begin to find solutions for our country. Because look, the majority of citizens in this country are young, you know. So young people have to be the drivers of change. They don't just have to be tools for change of government, okay? Because government will change, you know, even if young people don't vote, even if just you and me, Pilato and Maiko voted, you know, twice votera omuntu manisha wina. So, but the practicality of changing a government means that you now begin to participate at individual level, at community level, at country level, regional level, world level, you know, because we are all connected, comrade. And for me, I'm excited because young people nowadays have more knowledge, I think, in terms of, you know, how the world is, you know, connectivity with the world. You remember you and I, ngamulefwa kamwana kashikuya posa kalibwe pamtenge, you know, but young people nowadays, you know, things happen just, you know, over a wire, or, you know, you're in your headsets, you know, and, you know, things are happening. So they need to take control, responsible control, you know, seek guidance from those that have experience, you know, and shape the destiny of the country. Because remember, young youth has got a shelf life. You know, so you won't be young forever, you know. So you don't want, you know, a situation where you look back and say, I should have done this as a young person. Our founding fathers, Abena Kaunda Kakwepwe and them, Nkumbula, you know, they were young people those days. I think Kaunda was below 43 when he became president, you know, and, you know, they had that vision, but not just a vision. You know, you can have a vision. Those are just dreams, but it calls for action. And that is why young people need to be hands-on, you know, they need to network, you know, and solutions will be found by the young people. Suggest solutions on the part of government. I think now is the time to get citizens on board, you know, because we are coming from an era where government belonged to people's farms, you know. Kalifia nika click iliyafine, you know, mwapanga kwa kantemba toke ifwe boka group wakaifi. Mwamona then mwambokula running efinto okay cancel ewe obe mwakula senda ku cancel imwe ko zedara okay na mipela ko zedara but mule mpela ko ishikurushire isako imwe ba esisi na imwe nimwe mwakula tusanfie milando imwe ka intercity peden fi abaiche, you know. So that's the kind of mafia government that we are coming from. And I'm not, you know, ashamed to say, you know, I'm not mincing my words when I say it was a mafia government, you know, because everything was toxic, comrade. Yes, comrade.
So, given that background and where we are today, I would like to understand from you, do you think young people are still active? Do you think young people are positioning themselves to take over leadership positions? Do you think young people are doing enough? Do you think young people are interested?
I think, you know, the August elections last year, you know, signaled a very huge call for young people. And what I see now, comrade, is that a lot of young people are trying to be responsible. You know, they're trying to, you know, make their own living now because, you know, there's no free money. There's no, you know, dangling of cash from anybody.
That's right.
So young people are beginning to realize that oh, kubomba ngole fokulia kubomba, you know. So the paradigm is shifting, you know, in as far as the participation of young people in their own welfare, because it's your own welfare first. Iwe ngataule isunga ngatauli buino taulile, you know. You cannot go out there and you know, sing a song, you know, for anybody, you know, because you have not eaten. You know. So but now we are realizing, but also, you know, we need also to take interest. Like you say, when you ask young people taking interest, are they interested? You know, young people need to take interest in the affairs of the country, because ultimately they are either the winners or the losers. Because as citizens, ichalo chilikuwa tilupwa, you know, filia mwaikala pansa kaya munganda, you know, and you know, watata upo balipaliana wamayo, you know, those are our leaders. Bayama filia, so avena mwimbu baliaba ni bayama wonse, you know. Then you have the children who are ourselves, you know, the citizens, you know. So that contribution, if you say, I'm a mine, yabombashan, how do we make our money as a country? You know, agriculture, for example, how do we get young people excited in ventures like
Comrade, I can't hear you. Okay, so I think I've lost
like
okay.
Okay. Oh, we are back. We are back, comrade.
Okay.
Yes. You know, so you see, I'm a hiccup on there. We need solutions from the young people. Kwa tama internet yela putuka. Because waleetulira fye endalama mwamu. You buy ka bando kale puira fye mu muli kale shinguluka fye kale. So so ama levels yafuire yachinja, comrade.
Yes.
Whether it's for young people or general citizens.
Do you think the new government is or has shown intentions or has acted for the inclusion of young people in its government structures at whatever level? Do you think there is enough young people, or do you think there is intention or there is an exhibition by the current government to include young people in government programs, government structures? Do you think there is that intention? Do you think this new government has acted to show that they are interested in working with young people?
This government has shown that they are interested in working for young people, but I don't think they've exhibited that they are interested in working with the young people. That is where my problem is, because I don't think we have enough young youth representation, women representation, in the political scenario of the country. And it's very, very important. People like disabled, for example, differently abled rather, you can kwati imwe German tamuli mpofu imwe. So tamwaishwa ofo mbona ine mukupofuka kwandi tamwaishwa ofo nguvu. If I'm on a wheelchair, you don't know my challenges. So in cooperation of the various citizen groups, is very, very important. And for me, I would like to see more and more young people in government. We have young people, comrade, who are capable, of leading, who are capable of providing solutions. You look at we have a young pilot, is it Kamwendo or something? We have young businessmen. Look at the people who run, the biggest radio stations in the country. It's young people, So already young people are driving in the different sectors. Who are driving the best vehicles in the country? It's the young people, So we need that intellect, that youth, that vibrance, to be interpreted into governance as well, into the politics, into the governance of the country. That way, the government and the young people, the citizens, the marginalized, they've lost. Yeah. Oh, we are back.
I can hear you, comrade. I can hear you. Yeah, I wanted also to hear from you. So, okay, I think I've lost it. I'm gonna go for a break.
I have your comment.
Good to have you.
Comrade.
Comrade, I want to hear from you, because now, like what we keep seeing now is young people branding themselves as 2.8, 1.8. Do you think that's where we should be as young people, especially when we have a country that must be managed, that must be led, whose future must be designed by young people? Do you think the 1.8 type of branding is progressive? Do you think that's what we need for us to move forward? Do you think Zambia is safe in the branding, or I don't know what segregated branding? that's where we need to be as a country? Do you think 1.8, 2.8 type of arguments or type of engagements or type of envisioning the country is what you think? Do you think that is progressive? Do you think that's what we need as a country?
Allow me to be a bit sarcastic, comrade.
You are allowed.
Vututu filyafya 1.8 katushinga ati 1.2 kwisa imwe. You know, when we go for an election, you know, if I wanted Pilato to be president and he did not make it, you know, that's an election. You see, it doesn't mean then, you know, I have to hate the other guy who beat my my preference for president. You know, so as a country, you know, we need to begin to think, you know, beyond an election. An election is just a litmus test to see if, you know, the people that we have in place have the consensus of the majority of the people. And what we must understand is that we must respect the rule of the majority, you know. And if you are, if you decided for the minority, those that did not make it after an election, you know, all that is nullified. Yes, you become one, a unit. You become Zambians now. So forget about the 1.8 and 1 Shanyoko. At the end of the day, what you are suggesting is that if wewe 1 Shani twalikuwa taka chalo kesu na president wesu filafine elio na imwe uyo, and even when you see comments like on social media, there is a lot of saying, you know, your government, you know, the people you put in place, you know, your president, you know, your what, you know. No, you know, that president was employed by you in a way, even if you did not vote for him, because the government that is in place for the next 5 years was voted in by the majority in order, you know, to run the affairs of every Zambian, including those that did not vote for it, you know. So if you're tuleke bane wututu, let's forget if you repeat my elections if you.
Thank you, comrade. I wanted also to share a thought I got from Dr. Seshua in one of my conversations with him. I think he made something very profound. He said, there's no single individual who is permanently wrong. There is no single individual who is permanently right. Sometimes you and I find ourselves in a situation where this particular political party or this particular politician does something that is very good, and you say, Comrade Tombolilo, oh, President Tombolilo, oh, Honorable Tombolilo, you did something very good. And then because this Honorable Tombolilo belongs to this particular party, and then the people come to you and say, you are now voting this one.
You are now a card.
You are now a card. And then when Honorable Tombolilo does something wrong, and then you come back and say, Honorable Tombolilo, you are wrong here. And then people come and say, hypocrite, you are changing positions.
You are changing.
Yeah. Comrade, do you think, as young people, do you think democracy is safe when we support personalities, when we support political parties and neglect to support ideas? Do you think our democracy is growing when we, instead of supporting ideas, we support personalities, we support individuals, or we support political parties, not the ideas that are espoused by these individuals or espoused by these political parties? Do you think our democracy is safe? Do you think our democracy is strong when our support is based on personalities and brands and not ideas?
Our democracy, you know, is soiled, comrade, when we toe that line, you know. And, you know, for me, I want to believe that democracy is something, that we need to understand. The example you've given where, when somebody says this, and I've seen it on your page where people say, you shifted goalposts now, you want a job and things like that. I think we need to understand that, politics is beyond personal allegiance. I think you and I, comrade, we've had certain conversations where we've not agreed, in the style that, we want to do things, but in our small democracy, we go, for the consensus, and, we convince each other to say, okay, this is what we settle for, so that's the way it is. And, for me, we become gullible, if we worship individuals as opposed to stating our issues, because it's very easy, if you say, I support this politician, it's very easy for them to come and bribe you, because already you are corrupt. Your mind is corrupt even before you, without receiving any form of inducement. Your mind is already corrupted. You just, you have a one-sided view. You are just seeing things from, your angle, and so it's I've seen even media houses, being attacked, for putting up certain stories to say, no, you are sellouts and things like that, but the truth has no allegiance. The truth doesn't know your face. The truth doesn't know a politician. So for me, young people should not participate in the killing of democracy in that manner. Let's accept, that, and it's important, for you to accept a good view, of the person you hate, because kwali wabantu bambi ati bali abalanda ati me, this one naturally I don't like him. Uyu wakasote Pilato ishachitemu eki, but we need to be brave enough, and sensible enough to get a point from the people that we dislike most. That's the challenge that we have. Yes.
So, comrade, I would like to also, first of all, I would like to take us to escalate our conversation to the Pan-African type of conversation, especially. Before I get to there, I would like to hear from you where we are now. I'd like to get your opinion. Are we in a good place for activists in Zambia? Are we in a good place for journalists, media freedoms? Are we in a good place for divergent views?
Zambia, comrade, is very exciting now, because I think for the first time, a journalist is able to be a journalist. You know what I mean, comrade?
Yes.
Yes. A news editor is able to be a news editor, but for me, I worry because, Zambia's peace, Zambia's stability will never be guaranteed, comrade, if the peace and the stability of other African countries is not guaranteed. On the continent, since you asked about our Pan-Africanism, if you asked it in a Pan-Africanist context,
yes,
there are a lot of things that are happening on the continent that should worry us, comrade. Look, for example, at how a conflict in the DRC, just our neighbors here, has never died. Look at Sudan. Look at the ISO of the continent, Uganda. Where laws can be changed arbitrarily, to suit individuals. Wakula, you've reached of age, retirement age, then you go to the people and say, can you switch my age? They switch your age. The next time, no, we are extending, the term of office for the president. And now you see, parliament will be voting for the president. So on the continent, to be young again, on the continent, we have these hotspots, I know that certain countries that are under dictatorial regime, may be perceived to be doing well. But, you cannot guarantee the freedoms of the people under a dictatorship. You cannot guarantee human rights under a dictatorship. And what worries me most, comrade, is that the brutality that you see in certain African countries, and I have a soft spot for Uganda, so I'll give you an example. You find that some of the monies, that are used to brutalize the people, first of all, it's taxpayers' money. They pay tax to be brutalized. Then we have the international community also, the funders, who are putting in money into these atrocities that are happening on the continent. So for me, I would like to see a situation, comrade, where, if you remember, the Kaundas and them, the Nyereres, if they had not fought together as a continent, today we were still going to have apartheid in South Africa. Today, we were still going to have a white minority regime in Zimbabwe. Today we were still going to have the Portuguese in Angola. So, as a continent, comrade, I think we need to begin to realize and begin to have a bit of sympathy for what is happening outside our circle. Because soon enough, you may find that, refugees are coming from these countries and, coming into your country. People are in the country as refugees already. We can talk of our brothers from Rwanda, for example, Burundi, those are examples of what happens if we are not united as a continent, and if we do not tackle some of these issues decisively. Zambia has been having a border conflict, with the DRC Congo, I think for over 50 years now. And for me, those are, like a tsunami waiting to happen, because once just one mistake occurs, one person hacks the other, then you don't know where conflict will come from. You don't know where civil war will come from. So as a continent, we need to be mindful that, we are just countries by divisions of our colonial masters. At the end of the day, we are one people.
Thank you, Comrade. Comrade, I want to play your new release called Uganda is Bleeding, and then we'll get to read the comments and questions from our viewers. So allow me to play a video. I couldn't get your video that you uploaded. I had to find it from somewhere. I hope you forgive me if it does not meet your standards, but it's your song, Comrade.
Hey, Uganda is bleeding again. Kayunga is bleeding again. Magere is bleeding. Kampala is silent. Uganda is crying again.
Born in Livingstone, Zambia, Maiko Zulu, real name Michael Zulu, is songwriter, musician and producer from
Comrade, I thought I was playing the full song. Can I play that?
Okay.
I've not watched this.
Sure, comrade.
It's like it's a biography. I've not watched this, so if it's, I'm gonna watch it together with you.
Uganda is bleeding again. Kayunga is bleeding again. Magere is bleeding. Kampala is silent. Uganda is crying again.
Born in Livingstone, Zambia, Maiko Zulu, real name Michael Zulu, is songwriter, musician and producer from Zambia. He grew up with his family and later moved to Lusaka. His passion for music began in Lusaka when he was 6 years old. He entered the music industry with a stage name called Saint Michael, a name he later changed to maintain his African origin, hence, adoption of the local spelling of Maiko. He has produced albums such as In the Ghetto, 2001, Pressure, 2003, Reggae Unlimited, 2005, Mad President, 2006, and Monk Square Revolution, 2008, and $2 Ties for Hire, 2009. Besides music, he is a human rights activist and a recognized international labor organization child ambassador to Zambia. His works both in the music industry and human rights arena are known on the local and international scene. He is credited for promoting human rights in Zambia. He received an award for his work from the International Labour Organization. He speaks on behalf of the poor, especially children. He is also an outspoken critic of politicians. He recently took part in a protest against the Zambian ruling political party's continued harassment of journalists. He has also raised money and donated basic necessity goods to prisons. He currently works as a studio manager at Movie TV Studios in Lusaka. 10 Things You Didn't Know About Maiko Zulu 5960. Maiko is a songwriter, musician and producer. His songs have included A Mad President, a song which the state-owned TV broadcaster refused to play on their station. Maiko was born in Livingstone, Zambia.
Okay, comrade. I didn't know such facts. I was so sure that I got your song. I'm so sure that what I downloaded was you.
Okay. No, it's fine. We had something different.
Yeah. Let me get to read comments and questions from the people, and then we can respond to the questions. And then
okay.
So this one is coming from Aruna Ba. Aruna is saying, in Zambia or Africa in general, politics is taken as a job or a chance to be rich instead of reading a service. Once people are in power, they forget the masses that are the employers. We have bosses instead of leaders. Our democracy is a joke, bro. This one is coming from Noah Mushinka. Noah Mushinka says, our democracy is weak when we support individuals, groupings, or political parties instead of supporting ideas. Everybody seems to be agreeing with you. This one is coming from Itak Chile. Says, the 1.8 and 2.8 agreement has brought a lot of trade amongst young people. And this is not good for democracy. More sensitization about how we should conduct ourselves and treat each other after election, regardless of the person you voted for. Perpetual hatred against those with divergent views in a democracy is not healthy. This one is coming from Kevin Chisandi. Comrades, nice conversation. Do you think our education system is helpful to our African societies? So since I've not gotten a lot of questions, I would like you to respond to this question and then obviously share a comment or two on the comments that I shared already. Thank you, comrade.
Yes, thanks, comrades. This last question about our education system, comrade, is very important because for me, I think our education system needs just a total overhaul. Okay? Because, I mean, comrade, today we have, university graduates who cannot construct a sentence. in English. Okay. We have engineers, who cannot manufacture anything, nangwama toothpick nshishwenga twalitampa nombo, so education for me, I think we need to move away from that the kind of education where you say, I'm taking my child to school to go and be a lawyer, iwe nga wakula fuile waba umupatiliwa uyu tukamubika ati ni doctor, No, I think we need to change the way we look at education when kids go to school, and these are just my humble suggestions, comrade. At a certain age, by the age of 3 to 5 years, you are supposed to have already identified the strengths of a child. Uyu mwana ushe 1 plus 1 alishwa. Like for me, comrade, fiaman samun shava moine nang mwaumo mutwe so ati awe 1 plus 1 ni 2 ine.
Comrade, I think I've lost you. Hello? I think I lost you.
Yes, we are back, comrade. So I was saying, comrade, that we need to identify talents in children, because we waste a lot of precious years of people, mwamtampa up to grade 7, you are just pushing. Mudesunka na kuma private school filiano, kubosha ma past paper mwashita, just because you want that child to be a lawyer, but it's not working for them, so we need to change, because our education should ultimately interpret into benefits. What are you benefiting? For example, my comrade, if you each pass at body, thorax, abdomen, even my assembly like Vancouver, Chani, Canada, those.
Each person, you people from Eastern Province, that's your food. So for me, it is important to study grasshopper so that I know what things.
Naturally, you see. So you don't need to tell a child in Wapula that this is a monkey. They know it. But give them an education that is going to interpret into food on their table eventually, that is going to interpret into lifetime skills. Imagine Jerry Fingers nga mwali watampirire engineering at the age of 3. I'm not saying he's
yeah, let me share some more comments so we can cover as many comments as possible before we run out of time. So this one is coming from Diamond Mortons. Diamond Morton says, democracy is when people are in their rightful places academically. I don't know what that means. What do you say to that? To what extent do you agree to that, to what Mr. Diamond is saying? And probably you can shed more light if you understand exactly what he's trying to communicate.
I'm not seeming to understand. I'm not seeming to understand what Diamond is trying to communicate. But obviously, if people are in their rightful places, but the academically is what is confusing me, because I think, democracy is about people's freedoms, people's expressions, consensus, it's about, the rule of law and things like that. So for me, I think if people are in their rightful places as a unit, as a and accepting, that, I'm not qualified to be in this space, for example, or I'm not supposed to be, doing this in public. For example, you urinate in public, it may be okay, but it's injurious to somebody. So for me, all these little things, sum up democracy, how you govern the people, how you dignify the people as leaders, how you give back that dignity to the citizens. So there's a lot of things that we can talk about on democracy.
Thanks, comrade. So this one is coming from Kevin Banda. Kevin Banda says, just from the group, WhatsApp group, public group, you get some ideas on the people, like the way you fight politics and how it's time to fight in corner. In corner me, it's only a little bit small, just underneath, wait together. That is a key. I don't understand. Maybe we can read through, comrade. What is the comrade is afraid? Our brother is saying.
Public group, you get some ideas on the people, like the way you fight politics, and now it's time to fight in a corner. Me, it's only a little bit small, just underneath, wait together. That is a key.
Okay, so there's another one. Mr. Chitengi Munganga. Mr. Chitengi Munganga is asking you, Mr. Zulu, what are you doing to make sure that youths are involved in the new government? What are you doing to make sure
should
that
I answer that, comrade?
Yes, comrade, you can give you the answer.
Okay. Mr. Chitengi, for me, sometimes we don't like, to publicize a lot what we are doing out there, but I think we are contributing in a certain way, in encouraging our young people, to be part of governance, but at the end of the day, and what we are encouraging young people is that don't wait to be accepted. Nobody is going to accept you in governance. They have their spaces filled. So you need to get inside there if you have to. And, for us, we are working with a lot of young people in various fields, in the arts, in areas of activism, even just what we are doing here. As you know, social media targets young people mainly. So for us, spending time like this with my comrade Pilato, and just bubbling our way out, it's in the hope, that we are able to interest one or two young people, to lead us, Yes. So our contributions, are sometimes up to the young people themselves to say for us.
This one is coming from Lawrence Kunda. Ama politics yam Zambia, there's just good in talking, no actions. It's so simple, Kulanda. I can do that, we can do this. Man, the tear practice. People are dying every day. We don't have medicines in hospitals. That's a young person, Lawrence, who says, my politics
Lawrence,
Zambia,
yes.
it's just yes.
And he's very right. And it takes me back to what I was saying, that, we are easily bought, we are easily sold. That is why, when we have no medicine in the hospital, and somebody allows honeybee to bring expired medicines and condoms to kill the people, it's like it's a norm, you see, because we have given people responsibility without thinking. You do not give national responsibility without a thought. But he's right. And politics now is like, you can be appointed a road contractor just because mwalishwana na abakumuru iwe but nuevo musician wakupela contract ya kuya mukupanga road.
So this one is a comment from Kaluisia Mulambia. Loving this show. Continue with your efforts to awaken the masses slowly and steadily. A luta continua. Learning lots. That's from Kaluisia.
Yeah, Mulambia. A luta continua, my comrade. By the way, this is not a political symbol. It was stolen by some.
They didn't steal symbols, eh? Comrade, we are a minute away from conclusion. I would like to hear from you in your concluding remarks. Obviously, what should Zambia expect? What should the people of Zambia expect in the next 5 years under this new regime? From your perspective, we're not speaking on behalf of anybody. You share your opinion, your hope, your fears. Go forward.
For me, what I expect in the next 5 years, comrade, is that the country will be a better country, or should be on the road to become a better country, because I understand what the extent of the damage that was caused to this country. And for me, it would be unfair, today to say, some people are not working and begin to criticize. In all fairness, comrade, I think Zambians know where we are coming from. For us, just to fix the civil service itself, it's going to take years, comrade. For us to fix our economy, it's even going to take more years. But with conviction and leadership that you can rely on, I think Zambians should be able to see a better Zambia. But of course, countries are run by politicians, and people say you can never trust a politician. So for me, again, that's another view, which I express, because we've been told sweet things before by politicians, comrade, in the past. I was at the High Court when Frederick Chilua was addressing us after we put him in power, tighten your belts, and we said, yes, we are going to tighten. But you see where we are today, So for me, I would like to see a corrupt-free Zambia, where justice is going to prevail, democracy is going to be the order of the day, and respect for human rights,
Thank you very much, comrade. Thank you very much for agreeing to be our guest on this show. We do share in the hope that we build a better country going forward. And we say, a luta continua.
A luta continua, comrade. I'm humbled.
Thanks, comrade. Good night.
Uganda is bleeding again.